Coming up on Mountain News this morning, nearly 1 year after the deadly ambush in Floyd County, the officers who gave the ultimate sacrifice each received one of the biggest honors. And a well-known search crew from Louisiana travels to our region to help the loved ones of a missing man find closure.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Time is just before 6 a.m. on this Wednesday morning. I'm Keaton Hall, and Brandon, the sun just starting to peek its head out this morning right now, isn't it?
Exactly. It's getting up from its nap there in many areas as we head out the door this morning, but some areas may be seeing a little bit more on the way of clouds and fog, especially down to the south. Somerset can't really see the sky there, but it's starting to lighten up there just a little bit. It's 57 down that way this morning, and again, it's looking pretty nice there downtown on the Circle. We see some sensors out. Monticello and Clinton went back to bed on us this morning, but it is 48 Grundy. Jonesville, hey, you're up to 50 right now. 61 Jackson, 61 London, 63 Pikeville, 65 in Prestonsburg. Wow, Ashland took a tumble there, down to 62. They were 67 just a few minutes ago. 50 down in Middlesboro, 54 in Harlan. Breakfast forecast for today, right there in the upper 50s, trying to split the difference just a little bit there. I do think we'll see some sunshine to start the day, and then I think we'll see a few clouds drift through at times as we head deeper into the afternoon, and some rain chances on the horizon too. I'll talk more about all that coming up in just a few minutes. Keaton?
Thanks, Brandon. It's been nearly 1 year since the Floyd County ambush that killed 3 officers and a canine in Allen. And during this time, their community continues to recognize the sacrifices they made. One man who knows firsthand about those sacrifices spent Tuesday afternoon recognizing his fallen brothers. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about their medals of honor and how the mission they represent crosses state lines.
No greater love has this than a man laid down his life for a friend, and we take that to heart.
Grundy, Virginia police officer Shane Charles was shot in the line of duty more than 10 years ago.
Our shooting, took place in 2011, and we lost 2 officers in that while they were trying to come and help me and my brother.
Today, as chaplain for the department, he works with the Law Enforcement Medal of Honor Committee to recognize the sacrifice of those who gave all in the line of duty.
Nice to meet you. Good to meet you. I never want a family of a fallen officer they feel like they're ever forgotten about.
Charles visited Floyd County Tuesday, presenting medals to the Floyd County Sheriff's Office and the Prestonsburg Police Department, honoring the officers killed nearly 1 year ago during the Allen ambush.
We're so blessed and thankful that so many people still care and are willing a year later to reach out and tell the families that we're still thinking about you and that we love you and we're praying for you and that we're going to be there for you from now on.
With some family members, like fallen Deputy William Petrie's son Chase,
your dad was so proud of you,
able to accept the honor for their fallen first responder, holding to the medal and a little more.
That we're not alone, my family's not alone, all these families that were affected aren't alone, that there's always people thinking about us.
Seeing that the heroes will forever be honored.
That people are still realizing the sacrifice they made, those all of them, even the ones that made it through that night.
And the thin blue line runs deep.
You no longer see different shapes of the badge, different color of the uniform, or what state the seal in your badge may say. We're all brothers and sisters.
As do the legacies the officers leave behind. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Those involved say it's always nice to see how their heroes will be never forgotten, but terrible to know that so many departments and families have dealt with something just like this. Recovery continues for injured Louisville Metro police officer Nick Wilt. He was shot in the Old National Bank shooting 2 months ago. His family says he's showing remarkable improvement. They say he can now speak 2 to 5 word phrases more easily now and is even making jokes. He's still doing physical therapy and can walk on a treadmill for several minutes at a time. The Louisville Metro Police Foundation is still collecting donations for him and his family. The man accused of shooting at a Carter County police officer made his first appearance in court yesterday. Police say a SWAT team arrested Wesley Cornell early Tuesday morning in Lewis County. Court records show he's charged with attempted murder of a police officer and wanton endangerment. A judge set his bond at $1 million. The shooting happened around 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. Investigators say Cornell shot at the officer who was sitting in his cruiser. The bullet did not hit the officer, but he was hurt by the broken glass. Cornell is due back in court later this month. A well-known search crew from Louisiana is in southern Kentucky to help in the search for a missing man. Relatives say they last saw Ricky Griffiths around July 4th of last year. Cajun Coast Search and Rescue will search areas in Pulaski and Wayne counties. The team includes a search dog that crews say has been very successful in recovery operations.
We're typically the part of the team that handles the cold cases, cases a year old or older, because he seems to do really well at being able to locate human remains over a year old. He's proven himself. He has 27 recoveries, so I mean he's on his job.
Tony Wade says his crew could look for other missing Kentuckians while they're in the state. They operate on donations, and you can find a link to their Facebook page on WYMT.com. A Perry County man is in custody after being charged with attempted murder and kidnapping. After the Perry County Sheriff's Office received statements from a victim, a search warrant was obtained for a home on Robert Lane in the Big Creek community of Perry County. Police executed the warrant and found evidence consistent with the claims made by the victim. 51-year-old Robert Begley of Big Creek was arrested. He was taken to the Kentucky River Regional Jail. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in identifying an armed burglary suspect. Take a look at your screen. The suspect pictured was involved in an armed robbery last Sunday off Kentucky 25, just north of London. You're asked to contact Sheriff's Office with information by calling 606-864-6600 or messaging the Sheriff's Office on their Facebook page. One Laurel County man has been arrested and he's being charged with theft. 52-year-old Mark Webb of London was taken into custody after police say he stole 2 trees from a home in the East Manchester area of Clay County last week. The Manchester police chief says more arrests in this case are pending. An employee of the Budget Host Inn in London was arrested last weekend on multiple drug charges. Officials responded to a complaint at the motel after learning that an inmate at the Laurel County Detention Center was calling an employee of the motel. The London Police Department says the caller told the employee there was a container of meth left in one of the rooms and that she could keep it without facing legal issues. Police found 47-year-old Sheila Campbell of London, who told them she would turn over the meth. Later, police noticed Campbell attempting to hide a backpack. During a search of the backpack, officers found several things, including supposed marijuana and glass pipes. She was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center and is facing multiple charges. In Montgomery County, Mount Sterling police say they believe they have identified the person behind KKK flyers that were placed in neighborhoods. A police sergeant says the information has been referred to Kentucky State Police and the FBI. Social media posts this past weekend show flyers around homes in Paris and Mount Sterling. Police are now asking for any surveillance videos or descriptions. The Madison County School District will be making changes to stop racial harassment in its schools. This comes after an investigation conducted by the Department of Justice. Samantha Valentino sat down with parents who say their daughter was the target of racial slurs at a Madison County school.
In October 2021, the Justice Department opened an investigation into the Madison County School District under Title IX. The department says their investigation uncovered numerous incidents of race-based harassment, including incidents where Black and multiracial students were called the N-word and subjected to other derogatory racial comments by their peers. According to the investigation, the school district did not consistently or reasonably address the harassment, and the district often failed to follow its own racial harassment policies when it did respond.
We really are at our weakest when those in authority refuse to stand up and do what's right.
A sentiment that rings true for the Hill family. We first introduced you to them back in 2020 when their daughter Macy was a student at Madison Southern High School. She told us she was the target of racial slurs at school.
We just had so many concerns that nothing was being taken serious.
That was until the Justice Department stepped in and asked to speak with them as part of their investigation.
It helped us that we weren't the only ones, that we weren't, just overreacting, as people would say.
Monday, the DOJ announced a settlement agreement with the school district. The agreement requires the district to take several steps, including hiring 3 employees to process complaints of race discrimination, update racial harassment policies, and train staff to identify and respond to complaints of racial harassment.
That's the main thing we were after. I mean, ultimately, we brought the concerns to the school board, and we were just asking for help. Hey, protect our girls.
Now the Hills say they're hopeful other students won't have to experience what their children went through. In Madison County, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Our sister station WKYT reached out to Madison County Schools about this agreement. The district said in part, quote, the district will continue working closely with the U.S. Department of Justice to implement policy and procedure changes outlined in the agreement, end quote.
6:10 here on this Wednesday morning, and many areas a little bit on the warmer side this morning, but there's still some cool air out there in some of those valleys. Let's take a look at the Mountain Parkway near the Wolf-Powell County line there. Just switched to daylight on us on air, but you see maybe just a little fog up that way this morning. 59 currently there, 64 down the road in Moorhead, 65 looks like our warm spot in Prestonsburg this morning, followed by 48 over in Grundy, 50 in Jonesville and Middlesboro. Everybody else kind of in between there. A lot of 50s and 60s out there this morning. Again, region-wide, you got to go to Myrtle Beach to find a 70-degree reading this morning, but Huntsville, Memphis, and Atlanta not too far behind in the upper 60s. 58 Columbus, Ohio, 57 in Pittsburgh, and 66 in the Big Apple. Here at home, going to about 80 degrees today, mix of sun and clouds, and some scattered chances for some showers and storms later. I'll track out the weekend and give you a better idea what we could be seeing in the next few days coming up in just a little bit. Keaton?
Thank you, Brendan, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, Illinois becomes the first state to outlaw book bans. We'll have why lawmakers believe this was the right decision when we come back.